Welcome to a very important Joy program. Something is happening this year that happens every year about this time. It's called Halloween, and there's a lot of feelings about, should Christians have anything to do with Halloween? Is it a demonic day straight out of the pits of hell, and we should just ignore it? Or do we have some kind of festival at our church and do something exciting? Well, there's another kind of thing to do. Mick McCoy, a wonderful pastor, came up with something a few years ago called Halloween Harvest. And since that time, we've had him on just about every year we could possibly have him on and talked about what he's doing. They are reaching people. In fact, I have it on great authority that this last year, the devil himself came to one of these presentations. If you'll look right here, you'll see the devil himself standing there listening to the gospel at a Halloween, I don't know if it's the real devil, but it looks like it, at a Halloween Harvest Festival. What is this all about? Well, at great personal expense to him, not us, we don't have any budget, Mick McCoy has come to the great Northwest to tell us about it. Mick is the pastor of the East San Diego County, California Vineyard. He has been pastoring that church and founded it in 1984. He also has written a number of scripture songs and has cassette tapes and songbooks for that. Authored a year-long curriculum entitled Holiday Scripture Songs for Children, which utilizes puzzles, crafts, and various audiovisual techniques. He's done all kinds of things for kids. This has been a blessing. Served with his wife as summer missionaries, has been a Bible teacher, just done all kinds of great things. Has a great church in East San Diego County. But he's put together a book that's going to help you, again, if you've never seen him before or heard what he's doing, you're going to get an exciting adventure of what you can do this Halloween. Instead of letting the devil get all the fun and all the credit out of that thing, look what he suggests. A Halloween Harvest. This is a handbook, and we'll tell you how you can get a copy of it. Inside is all kinds of neat things. He tells you exactly how to do it, how to prepare for the night, what to do, all the things that you'll need to know, how to build things. Look here. It shows you how to have the Halloween Harvest puppet show. See this right here? And then on this side, he shows you how to build it. All kinds of good stuff. In this, even songs are in here. All kinds of neat stuff. Would you welcome our very special guest today, all the way from Southern California, Mick McCoy. Mick, welcome. Good to have you back.
I'm glad to be back. Well, it's good to be back.
It's been a number of years. You've been on the Joy program, talking about Halloween Harvest for a number of years now, but how long has Halloween Harvest been around?
This year will be our 22nd year.
Really?
I know I don't look that old, but the 22nd year.
What did the first time that you started and had Halloween Harvest, what really made you want to come up with something like this?
Yeah, I didn't really sit down and try to think of something. I was just watching the kids walk by. I was in Hawaii, and I saw all these kids walking by, and I just couldn't stand to see them not have some sort of witness of the gospel. So I went out there with my guitar, because I sing, and I had some candy, and basically just started talking to them about Jesus. And so from there, it just kept growing. God gave me better and better ideas of how to reach them. And so that's why I wanted to come and share and give some other people ideas of what they can do as a positive alternative on Halloween night.
Now, in your church, I understand that a number of people do this thing. Tell us how your church would celebrate this.
Yeah, we have about 7 teams, usually about 10 people on a team.
Wow.
And we'll go all over the city, basically in front of people's homes. People in the church that are in a good location where there's a lot of kids that come by. We'll set up a team, and we'll have a couple of musicians, a couple of people that are just basically talking to the adults, because adults always come by and they'll say, "What are you doing?" And it's a perfect opportunity. We have adults that always receive Christ every year, just answering their question of what we're doing. And we have a couple people that will share the gospel with the children, using a pumpkin that I'll talk about in just a little bit. And our families can be involved. My kids are involved, you know, because they can pass out the track and treat. We call it track and treat. And then there's a couple of people that dress up like angels, and when the kids receive Christ. Last year we had over 300 children receive Christ from our teams.
Wow.
Over 5,000 over a 22-year time. 5,000 children. But we'll tell them, your name has been written in the Lamb's Book of Life. And so we'll have a big Lamb's Book of Life, and their name is written in there by these angels. They're dressed up as angels, but it gives a good visual aid of what really is happening in heaven. And it's an exciting time. We enjoy it. Our kids look forward to it. And
well, you have some great
really
tracks too that you, in fact, if you want to find out about getting these, you print these, I understand it, or make them available at a reduced rate.
We printed 50,000 of them last year.
50,000?
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll see this.
We just sell them at cost. You know.
At cost, so that you'll figure out how to get these. But see this, is finding the light in the darkness of Halloween. Can you read the puzzle inside? And then inside is a puzzle. and it has the gospel message in it. And then in the back, it ends up telling you what you can do. And if anyone hear my voice and open the door, I will come in. It's a neat little puzzle. And if you would like to find out about get the track, stick around because we'll tell you about that too.
Yeah.
So they get a track and they get a treat.
Track and treat.
Whether they accept the Lord or not doesn't matter.
Oh, no.
They're going to get some love and some caring.
Right. You know, one of the things that I realize is Jesus always does above what we ask, think, or imagine. And the kids are coming basically expecting just candy. And so I encourage Christians, don't just give them a track, give them candy too. Give them above what they asked or thought. And
Sure.
of course what we want to do is give them that best gift that could be ever given, and that's Jesus Christ coming into their heart.
You know, a parent walks up and they see you talking to their kids. Now, religion, of course, is a tough thing. What do most parents do when you start talking, and do they see the puppet show?
We did it in our own neighborhood last year, Jim, and the neighbors loved it. The parents come up and they like it. It's a very healthy way of getting to know your neighbors, but we had tremendous response. In fact, I have a letter here from someone who actually they're living in Kokomo, Indiana, a lady named Mary, and she said that she loved Halloween as a child, so it was very hard for her to not celebrate Halloween, but she knew that it was a very evil day, so she didn't have anything to do with it until she heard about this ministry opportunity. She had her ladies' Bible study get together and put a team. They reached 50 children, it says. And then she said, I was amazed to see parents listening to the pumpkin story, nodding their heads yes. People are so open to this. Non-Christians loved it too. We drew in Christian and non-Christian helpers. The Christians told the story of how to come to Christ. And also did the angel of recording the children's names in the Lamb's Book of Life. The non-Christians poured cider for the other parents and handed out candy and tracts.
Really?
That's what it says. And then a Baptist pastor in her neighborhood, she says, left with our handbook. He loved it, so we're ordering another one. That's from Marion, Kokomo, Indiana.
The handbook will tell you about, you can get a copy and you need to send for it real quick. So get your pencil paper out now so that you're ready to write for it. People all over the country have been doing this. And I know in our program we've had you on a number of times and people have responded. And I understand thousands have gone out over these the years that you've been on Joy.
Yeah, we sent out 3,000 handbooks at least.
Really?
And so that's exciting to think of the different things that are happening all over the country.
Well, kids are coming to the Lord when they're young. That's the time that they should come to the Lord.
That's
Let me just show you some of the pictures, what they're doing here. Now, you have a barn kind of a thing?
Gospel barn, we call it.
The gospel barn. See these pictures here you can take a look at. There's some people coming up, and she's telling the story of the pumpkin. Here's another one telling the story of the pumpkin. And look at this kid. He doesn't look like he came really to hear the gospel message. And here's the gospel barn over here. And if we look over here, you'll see Mick's... Oh, let's see. Which one? Is that your wife?
That's my wife.
That is your wife
On
right
the left.
there. On the left, of course. And there's a goblin or something, but she's telling the story. And the gospel barn looks pretty silly. And there's that one of the devil again.
That looks like the devil himself. Yeah,
yeah, but the gospel barn looks simple to make. It's not like a big expenditure. It's a simple kind of a
very easy
project. But then the puppets, somebody in the church has puppet kind of things, right? They can do that.
Oh, most every church does, or the children. We like to involve our own children in the ministry, so I don't say, well, kids, I got to go serve Jesus, you know, take care of yourself. I bring my kids with me, and they do the puppets or they hand out the candy, and this is exciting for them to do something on Halloween to reach, you know, their own neighborhood.
Sure. Now, if somebody's at home thinking, well, how involved is this? What do you need to actually do like you need a pumpkin?
I'm glad you asked. See, actually, the simplicity of it is you take a pumpkin, a normal pumpkin, carve a heart in the back, and it becomes a visual aid for the gospel. Because this pumpkin here is saved. It has asked Jesus to take the sin out of its life. The stringy stuff is like sin. And Jesus stands at the door of our heart and knocks. And when we open up our heart, ask him to come in, Jesus lights up our life. So we just take a normal pumpkin and use it for a visual aid. And a person can do that just as an individual at their home. Instead of just closing their door, turning their lights off, they can be prepared for the kids that are coming.
Even if they don't put the gospel barn and have all their friends, or they can do it themselves?
Sure, that's the beauty of it.
Let's take a music break and come back and do that. Can we do that? Okay, what we'll do is we will give you the address so you can write. Some of you that want to get the Harvest handbook, and it tells you about this pumpkin. Now, what's important you need to hear is you need to hear how they use and tell the pumpkin story. So we'll have Mick tell that story and how you can lead somebody to the gospel with just a pumpkin. But the other information you're going to need, especially if you're looking for tracts, it's so hard to find good gospel tracts that deal with it. And these they've been using all over the country. And so if you want to write and find out how to get them, also the handbook. It is not free, but if you'll send a love gift, large or larger, help them out. It's a wonderful ministry. But if you can send a love gift, they will send it back to you. And then if you want to order tracts, probably they can give you what financially what you sent. They can probably fill the rest up with tracts or something like that, some way or another. But if you want to find out about it, you may write to the address we're going to give you. But this is what you'll get, okay? You get the handbook. You can get these cute little tracts to pass out, and all of that you need to write right away. So here's the address. Mick McCoy is our special guest, all the way from East County in San Diego, and you're going to want to get one of these, and so keep listening up, and we'll get you the address one more time if you missed it the first time in our program. Mick, again, the Halloween Harvest is leading kids to the Lord, but one of the concerns some people are going to say is, well, here little kids coming out to give candy, and you give them the story about Jesus, they want more candy, they think you're going to give more candy if you...
Right.
So are they really commitments? I mean, what happens after that? They go away and you never see them again. What happens really? What age do you start with, and what about follow-up?
Yeah. We take whatever age comes, but in the last 5 years we've tracked the ages that have responded have been, the majority of them have been about 11 years old. But a lot of 14, 15, 18-year-olds, like I said, adults too, receiving Christ. And we have to remember this is on the street in front of someone's home, so the peer pressure is going to be against, praying to receive Christ. And they have their friends right there with them. And the gospel just touches their heart. You can watch them. Sometimes they'll cry.
Wow.
You just watch them melt as they hear how simple it is to receive Christ and the difference that He'll make in their life. So then we use a mailbox club for follow-up that has been very, very successful for children of all ages. It's basically it has all the different age groups. A Bible study for whatever age the child is, and it's done through child evangelism, and they get it in the mail for free.
Oh,
and
really?
Kids love getting mail.
Well, child evangelism is across the country, so
right,
in their area, probably there's somebody that's doing that, right?
Yeah, the last letter that I just wrote, at the end of the letter, she said that she sent the 50 children's names to child evangelism, and they were going to send out the mailbox club to them.
Great, so there is follow-up.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's look at the pumpkins then. Now, this is the key to the whole story, regardless of whether you build the barn and have musicians or if you just do it singly, individually.
Right.
The key is the pumpkin.
Right. Get the track and treat and make sure you carve your pumpkin right. Now,
Okay,
this one
track and treat.
obviously is an unsaved pumpkin.
Yeah.
He's a hurting guy. But he has a heart. The problem is his heart is full of sin.
Ooh, okay,
Can you
so
see
all the
that?
stringy stuff and the seeds and all that kind of jazz?
Right. And that's exactly what our hearts look like before Christ comes in. We don't like to admit it, but it's empty and dark inside, and it's full of stringy stuff like sin. Someone told me one time, you can't use pumpkins that came from Egypt. And I said, well, I think the pumpkins came from the Garden of Eden. And God made pumpkins, and it's a perfect visual aid for what we look like as people. We're different shapes and sizes, but all of us have an empty heart. But the main thing is when Jesus stands at the door of our heart and knocks, and it's perfect like that. You turn the pumpkin around, and on Halloween night when it's dark out, the kid's standing right in front of you, and you've shown them what it would be like to have a heart without Christ. Then you open it up, and a glow, a warm glow comes out.
You put a candle?
Yes, we have a candle in there, and Jesus, the light of the world, comes in and lights up your life.
Ah.
So, it's very simple, but it works because the kids can see the contrast of asking Jesus to come in and take out the sin in their life, and then opening their heart up and asking Him to come in.
And the little candle inside kind of lights it up, makes it warm and
Sure.
whatever. And now, is this a golf tee that you've stuck in to make for the heart to hold?
Right. Anything will work, a screw or something, but I use golf tees because my father-in-law was a golfer, so we have a lot of those laying around. But anything so that you'll be able to pull it off. And the key is, of course, to put the heart up high enough so that it doesn't fall out, because you don't want it to keep falling out.
It'll keep falling out. Okay.
Yeah. And it's kind of like fishing, because when the kids come up and they see you holding a pumpkin by the stem with the light inside, the first thing you do is you say, have you ever seen a pumpkin with a light inside that doesn't have a hole in the head? And the kids are kind of looking at you like, I've never seen that. Well, how do you think the light got in, Jim? And the kids almost always will say, well, through the nose or the eye, and you go, no. And then you ask them the next question, well, who's the light of the world? Now, almost 9 out of 10 children will say God. And instead of saying no, you know, you say, that's right, Jesus is the light of the world.
Okay.
You build on what they already know.
Okay.
And it just helps build on that. So you say, that's right, Jesus is the light of the world, and he stands at the door of our heart and knocks. And if you open the door of your heart, he'll come in and light up your life. And it's that simple. And we'll see teenage children with their friends actually start crying. We'll talk to them. I had, one time now, I did have a teenager look at me and blow the candle out and say, so what are you going to do? And he was a teenager, and I just said, you know, I can always relight the candle here, but what's going to happen to you when your life is ended? And where are you going to go? And the kid ended up receiving Christ.
Really?
Yeah.
But had a little rebellion there for first.
Yeah, but he just wanted to kind of, you know, try me and see how I was going to respond. I mean, I remember one time we used to, see, my whole concept is the light needs to be in the darkness. Whether it's politically, we need to get in. If politics is dirty, we need to get out and vote. We need to have Christian candidates.
Sure.
We used to go to a bar and sing Christian songs all the time. For 5 years straight, after going to a prison ministry, we'd go to a bar and sing. And,
Really?
And we'd drink our, you know, pop and sing. And the people loved it. They would miss us. If we didn't go, they'd say, where were you last week?
Really?
Because the light needs to be in the darkness. And we have something that they're hungry for. One time I had a backslidden Christian at the bar put a knife to my throat and say, what's going to happen now? You're going to die. And I said, well, I know where I'm going when I'm going to die, but where are you going? And he, you know, took the knife away, and we're able to talk to him about Christ, found out that he'd backslidden. But we need to bring the light out into the darkness. It's so much better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. So that's my philosophy, not only for Halloween, but for all of life.
Okay. And this is working. In fact, again, for those of you that say, I would like to know more about it, inside the book, tell me what's in the book, because this actually tells you from beginning to end, right?
Right. It'll explain why we go out, first of all, because some people would rather, you know, do something else, anything else, but there's no other night in the entire year where the world is coming to our doorstep. So obviously God said this, preach the gospel to every creature. There's so many creatures out on Halloween night.
Yes.
What an opportunity. But the theology of it, first of all, Philippians 2:15, it says, among whom we shine as lights in the world, holding forth the word of life. That's Philippians 2:15. And we're not supposed to be apart from the world, separate, kind of in a monastery or something. We're supposed to be in the world as lights, among whom we shine as lights in the world, in the midst of a perverse and crooked nation. I mean, that's we need to be there. We're the salt, we're the light of the world. And rather than pull away from it and then watch it just go to hell, we need to be in the middle of it and just love them to Christ. Well, it tells the motivation of it, and then it tells exactly how to get involved either individually or to get a team together from your church or from your ladies' Bible study. And we have letters back from churches that have been involved. One here in Clovis, this church did it for the first time, and they said the results were greater than they anticipated. They had 250 children come to their activity.
Wow.
91 of them prayed to receive Christ. They said they're getting teams ready. At the point they wrote the letter, we are getting teams now ready to go back to each home and visit them. And then they also said, we've been asked by other churches if they could participate with us next year.
Wow.
So this is from Clovis.
So instead of having a meeting at the church where it's all nice and warm and fuzzy inside and do some of these things, we ought to be staying home and get our homes decked up and reach the neighborhood.
In San Diego now, this year, I know of 3 churches that are doing what they call fall festival or some sort of party like that. And again, I believe that we can have a party any night of the year. But at the very least, we've seen them incorporate this in. And they'll have 500 kids or more come through their church because they open it up not just for their own children, but for the neighborhood children.
To bring the community in.
And then they'll use this as one of the aspects of it so that the kids will receive Christ.
Well, then it would be okay, because then you're not just the keeper of the aquarium, so to speak.
Right. And so we work with churches to do that too. I mean, it's tremendous if they're doing a fall festival, as long as they open it up to the world, because the world is hungry, and we can have our parties anytime.
Sure.
But this is one night that the world is coming to our door.
Now, you have songs in this book and basically how to prepare for it, what to do. So this one booklet tells everything they need to know.
Right.
Okay.
You know, just the fact of songs, because people say, well, I know what songs. I have songs that are my favorites. I'd sing those. But just that one little thing is so important. When you're on the street, if you're singing worship songs that the world can't relate to, they'll think, well, these are strange people, and they will kind of walk by. But if you're singing something like Jesus Loves the Little Children, they know that it's Christian. They know where you're coming from. They're not frightened. It's not a cult or something. And it's geared for children. And most parents, they want their children to have fun. And they think, well, this is something that people are doing for my kid. And we've had very, very few parents ever just, you know, be upset. Mostly, if they don't like it, they can know right up front, you know, because of the music.
Yeah.
And they'll stay away, but hardly ever have parents that are really upset.
Well, especially when
Maybe
all the kids
less
in
than
the
a percent
are there, you know, it's
the kids are enjoying it. Most of the parents, Christians or non-Christians, are enjoying it.
All right. If you're saying, I want to enjoy it, I want to do it, here's what you can get. They do have the tracks also, and remember, it's track and treat. Both. Don't just give them the track and no candy. Come on, give them a break. Give them more candy than the world gives, or more yummies, or fruit, or whatever you're going to give them. But then also, there's the handbook. If you want to find out, get the handbook. If you send a love gift, now come on, don't be chintzy. Let's help this guy out with a wonderful ministry. Send a love gift to.
One last letter I'd like to read. This came because of your broadcast. From Perkins, Oklahoma, from Lewis and Tammy, and they said that they had 26 children that received Christ. She said, thank you for sharing on TBN. Otherwise, Halloween would have been another disgusting day for me.
That's good. So we won't make it a disgusting day. Let's use it for Jesus. God bless you. Bye-bye.